it's Anissa. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is so freaking special because not only am I doing one of my first tutorials, if not my first tutorial, we are doing the 500 subscriber giveaway. Finally, I know this is very long overdue, but I wanted to wait for the perfect moment and I felt that this was. To know how to enter the giveaway, you will have to keep watching the video until the end. In today's video, besides the giveaway, I showed you guys how to do some natural makeup. I recommended a lot of products to you guys. I gave you high-end options, drugstore options, and I also threw in a lot of tips on how to keep your makeup natural looking. If you guys are interested to see how we came up with this look and also how you can enter the giveaway, then keep on watching. I am so super excited to film today's video for you guys because this is something that I really don't do a lot of. It's not something that I do very often. Pretty much every time I sit down and film a video, it is completely full on glam. So I'm really excited to be doing something that is kind of more everyday for you guys. I'm gonna be sharing products with you guys that I like, but also some little tips and tricks to keep your makeup looking as natural as possible. The amazing thing about makeup is that you don't have to do every step. Like, you can personalize it to you. We are first going to start with primer. Now, this step, it doesn't seem very important, but to me, when doing natural makeup, primer is one of the most important steps because you're not wearing a lot of makeup and you want to make sure that that makeup sticks and it looks the same all day. I will either go for a mattifying primer or I will go for a pore filling primer. Sometimes I will do both. The reason I go for those ones is A, because my skin is oily. My pores are the size of Mars. The first one that I have is this e.l.f. matte putty primer. This one right here is the e.l.f. poreless putty primer. These both will help your makeup last all day. It just depends on what need you want more, or you can always mix the both of them. Next, I have this Hailey's Beauty Refine Primer, pretty much exactly like the NYX Pore Filler, which I also wanted to mention. I honestly like the Hailey's Beauty just a little bit more because it is a little bit easier to work into the skin. I'm gonna go ahead and use this Hailey's Beauty Primer. When picking out your primer, target whatever your main concern is. If your skin is more dry, I would recommend using a primer that is going to be more hydrating. This just like glides into the skin like butter. My only complaint about this primer is that it is so small. I am actually going to be filming an updated makeup routine, so like a full glam makeup routine at the end of next month. If you are watching this video while that video is up, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, what did you do with Anissa? Because they're two completely different things. This next step is something that I don't always do, but today I am going to do it, and I'm gonna tell you guys why. If my skin is being like super problematic, I will put on tinted moisturizer. If my skin's doing pretty good, I will just pop on some concealer and then powder and then go on. But today I am going to use tinted moisturizer. I have two really good ones that I wanna recommend to you guys. This first one is the Sephora Mattifying Tinted Moisturizer, and I'm in the color 10. I have never heard anybody talk about this stuff, and I don't know why. It is so good. I bought it on vacation on a whim. I really don't wear a foundation on vacation, especially if I'm going somewhere warm. I will bring a tinted moisturizer, and this is always what I bring with me. Or I will bring this BAREMINERALS Complexion Rescue, and this is also in the color 10. So I tend to bring both of these because this one is kind of like what I am right now. I might be a little bit lighter than what this is, and then this one is like my summer color. This has a really nice jelly consistency. Gel moisturizers are my absolute favorite, and this reminds me of that. It feels so nice and cooling going onto the skin. Today I'm gonna use this one because it is closer to what my actual color is. Another tip, if you are wanting to have your makeup land on the natural side of the spectrum, I would recommend using a beauty sponge over a brush, just because a brush is gonna give you a lot more coverage. When you use a brush, your product can't always like really sink into your skin, versus if you're using a sponge, 9 times out of 10 it will. If I had to recommend sponges to you guys, they would have to be pretty much any of the e.l.f. sponges. This one in particular is from the Complexion trio. So amazing. They are the best sponges that I have come across on the market, and they're super affordable. Squirt this onto my face. Yeah, right now my skin is like freaking out, and I'm using a little bit more than what I normally would. But I still do want my imperfections to peek through a little bit. It gives coverage, but you can still see your imperfections. Like this video if your skin has been hating you lately. In the wintertime, my skin is a lot more problematic than it is in the summertime. In the summertime, my skin just glows. But I actually had an esthetician tell me most people's skin is better in the summertime because you're out in the sun, and the sun actually kind of like dries up your acne in a way. Although the sun is damaging to the skin, it does help get rid of acne, which is why I know a lot of people go to the tanning bed. What I like about this tinted moisturizer is that it has a matte finish, but it's not a super powdery matte finish. Next is concealer. So I'm going to use concealer underneath my eyes, and then I'm also going to spot treat in just like my very problematic areas. We're not gonna go crazy because that's when you start to like get on the side of you might have just well be wearing foundation. This is also another Sephora product. This is the Sephora Bright Future Gel Concealer. I think I'm a little too light for it right now, but that's okay because we're gonna put powder on top of it. Whenever I bought this, it was a perfect match. Put it on my face, it looked exactly the color of my skin. I try not to go too crazy because I do still want to have like that natural pretty look. And see, it's not very much darker than me, just a little bit. I would recommend just putting it on your pimples that are kind of the biggest and the most angry. If redness really does bother you, I would recommend going over that. You want to take some type of small, dense blending brush. You don't want to distribute the product all the way around. You want to really keep the product concentrated. So I'm just going to tap it into my skin first and then blend out the edges. The point of putting it right there is to make sure that you're spot concealing. If you're somebody like me and it's not a perfect match for you right now, just go over it with your sponge and that will really help diffuse, but you're still gonna keep your coverage. If anything on your face ever goes bad, just put a sponge on top of it and you'll be fine. Whenever I'm doing like light makeup, I always use this concealer underneath my eyes. This is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind and I'm in the color tan. I use this stuff even when I'm doing a full face, but I especially love it for my natural makeup because it has coverage, but it's just so pretty and skin-like. Gonna get rid of your dark circles like nobody's business. And I don't put a whole lot. Usually I would do a whole triangle. I kind of just do half of a triangle. Usually I'm someone who will go for a concealer that is a lot lighter than I am underneath the eyes. When I'm doing natural makeup, I still like it to be lighter, but not super, super light because that kind of takes away the whole purpose of it being like natural makeup. This will take me about 10 minutes to do in the morning. Keep in mind, it's just taking me a little bit longer because I really want to make sure to give you guys tips and tricks and make sure I'm thoroughly explaining everything that I'm doing. This next step is something I do no matter what type of makeup I'm wearing. Take another small blending brush and blend right underneath your eyes. This is going to help blend out your concealer. That way it doesn't look cakey. It's gonna look very skin-like, and it's also going to help prevent any creasing. It is going to prevent your concealer from hanging onto those lines. This next part is probably my favorite part of this whole routine. Instead of doing powder blush, even when I'm doing not natural makeup, I have found that I have been loving to use a cream blush. Blends out seamlessly. It looks skin-like. A really good option that I would recommend to you guys are these e.l.f. Putty Blushes. There's just this really pretty berry red. These remind me a lot of the Patrick Ta cream blushes, which are also one of my favorites. This is obviously a lot more affordable. I prefer to apply my cream blush most of the time with a brush. I like to concentrate my product and then blend it out versus with a sponge. It's a little bit harder to do that because naturally a sponge is going to diffuse anything you put on it directly. If you're somebody that is not comfortable with blush in general, whether that be powder blush, cream blush, I recommend using a stippling brush. They are so amazing. You're not gonna get a whole bunch of product. It's not gonna be overwhelming and it's very easy to work with. This stuff is so creamy and pigmented, you don't even need a lot of it. And for so long, I strayed away from cream blushes because they can be very intimidating. I mean, they intimidated me for a long time. You look at this pan and you see that on your face, you're like, oh no, 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 no. But I promise I'm gonna show you guys, it's so pretty. Do a smile without my teeth. That way you can really see where the apples of your cheeks are. And I'm gonna put it right on the top of that apple of your cheek. In makeup in general, you wanna try to keep everything up because the more that you try to drag things down, it's gonna kind of drag your face down and make you look droopy. And I'm just gonna tap right on the top of that apple of my cheek. I'm starting with a little bit of product, but if you ever do put on too much, just blend it out with a sponge. You have to remember, this is looking a little bit intimidating right now, but we're gonna put powder on top of it. Don't blend it out to how you would want it to look at the end of your makeup. Put on a little bit extra, that way you can still see it through the powder. I did put a little bit too much on, so I'm just dabbing just a little bit. When I am doing natural makeup, I really don't use loose powder. I prefer pressed powder. I think it kind of packs the punch and you're not wasting any product. If you're using a good pressed powder, it should not look cakey or anything on your face. I've had this PORE powder for like 2 or 3 years and I'm just on the remnants of the outside of it. But this is one of my favorite powders to set underneath the eyes. It is the Neutrogena Skin Clearing Mineral Powder, and this is in the color Tan 80. All over the face it looks good, but especially underneath the eyes it looks amazing. e.l.f. blush brush, just you want a small tapered brush. Set underneath your eyes. And then I also will set my eyelid. Get really oily throughout the day. Next, I'm going to set all over the face, and I'm going to be using this L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Powder. This is a really good affordable option, and this is in the color C7. The one thing that I have to complain about when it comes to L'Oreal's powders is that it can be very hard to find your match, because like this claims to be to have a cool undertone, but it really pulls more on the neutral slash warm side of things. It can be really confusing, especially if you're new to makeup and trying to find your undertone. And see, you can still see the pink peeking through. Another tip, if you are going for natural makeup, try to not put a lot of product on your forehead. Just do like the bare minimum on your forehead, because if you overdo it, it's going to make it look a lot more obvious if your forehead is like very accentuated. If I'm feeling extra fancy, I will throw on some bronzer. So today I'm just gonna use this Hoola Toasted from Benefit, and I don't use a lot at all. Powder bronzer is something I'm still very hesitant about. I try to be careful and not overdo it. Trying to imagine putting that product up a little bit higher than what you think it needs to go, and then it'll usually fall right where it needs to be. And see, this bronzer is so pigmented. Then I like to take a bigger powder brush and just really blend that out. If you do not listen to anything else that I say today, please take this one thing away. When you're doing full face, when you're doing a natural face, what is going to help everything melt together and look cohesive is using a setting spray. You don't have to go out and buy a little mini fan like this, but just use a book or something and really soak that into your skin. And what that's gonna do is just help all of your makeup melt together beautifully. This one in particular is the NYX Bear With Me setting spray. I love this stuff. It is a great multitasking spray. I've had this for probably 2 months, and I use a lot more setting spray than what I should. You get a lot of product in here. It's not going to dry your skin out. It is just going to set everything in place and also help it melt together. I spray setting spray until I can kind of see like a little bit of a dew on my face. Use your fan, your book, whatever you need to. Now we're gonna move on to eyes, which usually I do eyes first when I'm doing a full face. When I'm doing natural makeup, I like to do it last because I don't really do much to my eyes. Sometimes I will just do eyebrows, but sometimes I will throw on a little bit of eyeshadow. If I do throw on eyeshadow, I'll take whatever bronzer I was using, take a big fluffy crease brush, and just pop that in your crease. Like, I don't use eyeshadow primer, I don't use anything. I just pop this into my crease, and this is really gonna help like warm the face up. Blend, 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 and you see the difference between boom, boom. Start on the outside, work my way onto the inside. You don't want any harsh lines. No harsh lines, people. Nothing is natural about harsh lines. So even if you think you've blended a little too much, that's all right, because it's better than having harsh lines. I almost like kind of blend it up into my eyebrow too, to really get that gradient effect going. When it comes to eyebrows and natural makeup, I prefer to use just a pencil. When doing full face makeup, I will do an outline with a pencil and then fill it in with pomade, but I try to stick to just pencil. It just makes it look really fluffy and pretty. I have an affordable option and a high-end option for you guys. My affordable option for you guys is this e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil, and then for my high-end option, I have this Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil. I thought this brow pencil was so overrated until I finally gave it a second chance in a full face of first impressions. I personally like this better than the Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's very easy to control, but you also don't have to work really hard to get that pigment. Like, it has a nice creamy formula, but not too creamy. Pretty much all I do is outline my brows like I regularly would, and then in any sparse areas, just strokes. And I never ever on the top start all the way up here. Go a little bit back, because right in here, this is where your brow hair grows upwards. So I don't start outlining until I see that my hair is growing in this direction. And then underneath, I will start a little bit closer than what I did on top. Now that I have my shape, I'm just gonna go ahead and brush it out. This is really gonna help everything fall into place and just look a lot more natural in general. And then just going inside the brow and seeing what areas are sparse. Now I'm gonna go ahead and move on to my eyes. This is where I would put on mascara if I didn't have eyelash extensions. I wanna be clear, these two that I'm recommending for the lower lashes. I don't know how they work on the top because I never put them on my top. So I do have an affordable option and a high-end option for you guys. This is the newest mascara from e.l.f. It's called the e.l.f. Lash It Out Loud. And then this is just a mini size of the Benefit Bad Gal Bang. I love this wand, especially for the bottom lashes, because it is that cone shape, so it's really easy to get up in those lashes. We're gonna go ahead and do the affordable option. I purposely went ahead and messed up a little bit on the bottom. Once your mascara completely dries, wait till it dries. I know if you're impatient like me, it's hard to wait and you want to flake it off using a Q-tip. I know, especially when I'm in a rush, I don't like to wait, but wait, because if not, it's just gonna smear all over the place and look way worse than what you even started with. Second to last step is highlighter. When you are going for a more natural makeup look, do not use a highlighter that is heavy in glitter. You wanna use something that's very finely milled to where you get that reflection. You see it's a different color. Nothing that has chunks in it. You want a more smooth formula because that glitter is just gonna bring out texture on your face, and it's also not gonna look very natural. And then right on top of that cheekbone, I'm barely putting any compared to what I would usually put. Tilt your face, and then you wanna put that highlight right on the top of that cheekbone where the light reflects. And sometimes I kind of move my face before, that way I can see where I want it. You don't wanna put it like down here or real up here, because that's gonna defeat the purpose of even highlighting to begin with. And then if I'm feeling fancy, I will pop a little bit into my inner corner, not a lot, just a little bit to kind of draw the light right into that inner tear duct where the light hits naturally. When doing natural glam, I personally do not even mess with lip gloss or lipstick. I will just put on a lip balm, and I have really been liking this e.l.f. Ride or Die lip balm. I think this is just Mighty Mint. This is a very, very good dupe for the Glossier Mint Balm.com, which I love, but this stuff is so thick. Like, it is really hard to get out of the tube sometimes, but you don't need a whole lot. You need that much for all of your lips. Using a moisturizing lip balm is gonna give you a little bit of gloss, but nothing too extreme. All right, guys, this is the finished makeup look, but we are not done. I actually have a giveaway to do for you guys. Before I even start, I just want to thank you guys from the bottom of my freaking heart for allowing me to have this platform. And I say allowing me because without you guys watching my videos, I don't know where I would be. This has been something through every season of my life. The past year has kept me so grounded, and there have been times that I have wanted to give up, but I remember you guys in those times, and you know, your guys' comments and your questions and your encouragement reminds me why I do this. I do this because I want you guys to all feel so beautiful, and you don't need makeup to feel beautiful, and I always want to emphasize that. It's so fun to learn new things, and that's what makeup has done for me. It's allowed me to kind of have an outlet. I just wanted to thank you guys, and I would not be here without you. There are going to be 4 lucky winners, and in my hand here I have 4 $50 gift cards to Ulta. I'm going to quit rambling because I know all you guys want to know is how you can win these gift cards. In order to be entered into this giveaway, you have to comment underneath this video, and I want you to comment what makeup means to you, and then also you have to be subscribed to this channel. So those are the 2 that you must do. That is 1 entry together. Bonus entries. For 1 extra bonus entry, you can follow my beauty Instagram, which I will put right over here, Beauty by Nisa. And then for another bonus point, you can follow my TikTok, which is also Beauty by Nisa, and I will put it right here. This giveaway is going to go on for about 2 weeks, and I have put my announce date as March the 16th. I have a video scheduled to go up that day, so you will have to watch that video to see who won and if you did win. Good luck. I absolutely cannot wait to get these gift cards into your guys' hands. That way you can go buy some beauty products and treat yourself, whatever you want to do with it. That is the end of today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for supporting me, and thank you for everything that you do. Keep being a great human, and I will see you in a couple days. Bye.